be a lucky day. So, in case you don't know me, I'm the superintendent of schools. Anyone know what that is? What a superintendent is? No one?
You look over what the stuff we learn and whatnot.
Okay, something like that.
You employ those that teach us, I guess?
Yeah, I employ your teachers, yeah, that I do. Anything else?
I was about to say like the boss.
Yeah, so you're kind of the boss of the schools, yeah, of all the schools. Anyone else know anything about superintendent? You guys missing like the easiest thing too. That I do. Really, you should know that I do, or maybe you don't know. You guys ever have snow day in the winter?
Oh, yes.
That's me, man.
Oh, thank you.
I create the snow. No, I'm just kidding, I don't create the snow, but I make the decision to close school. So superintendent kind of oversees the entire system. It's I guess like in a business, it's the CEO of an organization. In a school, it's like the principal. But here in East Hartford, anybody, you guys all go to East Hartford schools all the way through? Anybody else go? What's your first name?
TJ.
TJ. I had TJ in middle school, right? Middle school, TJ? Yeah. Anyone else go to East Hartford schools all the way through, or at any other East Hartford schools? Delilah, how about you?
I went to a school in Hartford.
Hartford, okay, so you guys are all new to East Hartford in your high school experience?
I mean,
All right,
the
so
middle
we-
school, right?
What's
Yeah,
that?
I went to Hartford last year, but I've been a East Hartford student.
Did I ever have you as a principal? Is that ever your principal?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? So in East Hartford, we have 15 schools. We have like 7,000 students. I employ, under me are about 1,300 employees, so there's a lot of people that we take care of. Our school budget is around $130 million, so there's a lot of, that's the other thing superintendents do, is take care of money and make sure money's coming in, et cetera. So, I don't know, is that boring stuff or good stuff, Ezekiel?
Good.
Sounds good? You like that? Yeah, it's good for the most part. But one of the most important things I do in my job is ultimately hire people and employ people. So I sit in the final interviews of anytime we hire a teacher, I sit on the last interview, so typically they've gone through the school process. Your teachers, your principal have interviewed the teacher, and then they get sent forward. Sometimes you guys ever been in a class where they had to like demo a lesson, like they brought the teacher in and kind of had them teach and see how it went? Ever seen that before?
Yeah.
That happens, and then the last phase, they come sit with me. So it's usually me, human resource director, and sometimes the principal shows up for those interviews, and we interview the person. So I get a lot of experience interviewing people. I spend a lot of time doing that because ultimately for me, I want to make sure TJ gets great teachers, and that matters to me. I feel like if you guys can have great teachers, it's probably the most important thing that's going to happen in your experience. You ever have a teacher? The answer is better be yes. It was an awesome teacher that you connected with, really worked for you, Malik. You did?
Yeah.
Where was that?
In Hartford.
In Hartford. What was the name of the teacher?
Hartford High.
Harvard High?
Well, not Hartford High, that was just school name though, but it was, damn,
Yeah, it's hard to remember sometimes.
I forgot his name though, but.
Click though, right?
Yeah.
Right? And I bet you some of you had at times a teacher that didn't click for you, right? Didn't work, right? Wasn't a good experience. And some of that might have been your fault. Some of that might have been their fault, right? That's how the world works. But my goal is to try to make it so we have all great teachers here in East Hartford that can really help you guys. And I think we do a pretty good job of that. So, let's talk about interviewing. Let's talk about soup to nuts. Let's talk about interviewing from where it starts, where you're applying for the job. All right, so applications typically happen. Malie worked at a warehouse. Did you fill out an application for the job? As you're filling out applications for a job, what do you think are some really important things for you to remember as you fill out that application?
Like anything that's on the application.
Yeah, make sure you answer the questions, right?
Yeah.
Don't leave things blank. Don't be like, I don't feel like, right, tell me a little bit about yourself. Be like, I'm not interested in telling you a little bit about myself. That's my personal business. If it's on the application, guess what they want?
Everything.
They want it filled out. So you got to know that going in. So like for us, there's jobs in our system. We'll have an assistant principal job open up in our system. We'll have 200 candidates apply for that job. So we don't know who these people are, and you're literally going through, and I don't do this, it's done in the human resource department. They're going through the applicants and just looking for a reason to throw an application out. Sometimes, on an application it says your first name, your last name. Sometimes applicants will go too fast and they'll put their last name and their first name, just a sloppy error, typos, misspelling things. Those applications all get dumped. They could be really good people that just made a mistake, right? But when you have 300 applications, you're going fast. You gotta weed those out, right? Fair or unfair, everybody understands that happens. TJ, you in? Right, that happens. So my advice to you is you fill out those applications, take your time. If it's a handwritten application and you have handwriting like me, messy, what should you do?
Take your time.
Take your time. Slow down. Does anybody else have messy handwriting?
Yeah.
All right, a few of us do. So when you got to do an application, it's painful. Same for me. When I handwrite things, man, I write down something on a piece of paper, I turn around, try to read my own writing, I have no idea what I was talking about. I don't, many times that happens whether I'm writing or not. You got to slow down, you got to do a good job with that. That's number one. All right, so we got the application done, we submitted the application, and typically what happens next? Jeff, what happens next?
The boss is excited. I don't know.
We had the interview or something?
Yeah, they call you for, same thing, they call you for an interview. Caleb, they call you for an interview. All right, that phone rings. So on my phone, and I'm sure you guys all got phones, you know how you get calls and you don't know who they are, like it's just a phone number?
Yeah.
Typically, when I get a phone number, I don't know who it is, what do I do?
Pick it up.
No, I don't. You pick it up? Okay, I don't.
Unless it's an 860 number.
All right.
Unless it's an 860.
I almost never, if I don't know who it is on the phone, I rarely pick it up because, I get a lot of phone calls and I kind of want to, I'm hoping it will go to what? Voicemail. Then I can hear the voicemail, kind of know what's going on. When I call back, I can be somewhat prepared. So my advice to you is if you put in an application for a job, and if you like to pick your calls, great. If you don't, go to voicemail. Make sure your voicemail is appropriate. So if you have one of those voicemails that says, drop it, right? Or, sometimes we call, you ever heard one like that? Crazy voicemail? Change your voicemail. Change your voicemail, say, hey, this is Caleb. Sorry I missed your call. Look forward to speaking with you. Hang up, right? Don't have the crazy voicemail with the music and all that other stuff. You can't have that if you're taking it seriously, all right? That's good advice, right? Everyone understand that? All right, so now you pick up the phone, you talk to the person, when you answer the phone, you call them back. How should you sound on the phone as you talk to them? Yo, what up, man? Should we on that?
No.
No. Hey, how are you? It's TJ. I appreciate you calling me back about the job. Very interested, excited. When can we meet? Right? You have to step up your game in that moment. They're judging you every single second. Again, it's not that they're judging you whether they like you or don't like you. They just have a bunch of people they're calling. So they're trying, this is where you try to rule people out. They're trying to rule you out. Can't let them do it. They ask you for a schedule. Hey, listen, I need you to come in Monday at 4:30, Delilah. Sorry, I'm hanging out with my people on that time. Can't make it. What do you think's happening? It's just what the barber say. What'd the barber say?
No.
Next! Right, they're moving on to the next person. You gotta be available. You gotta show up. Okay, so now you show up at the warehouse. We should go to Mali on this one. He knows how to do this. You show up at the warehouse. Should you, and listen, man, this is not a job interview. All right, we're sitting here in school, in class. But if Mali was interviewing, would he show up with his hoodie on?
No.
No. Mali would have his hoodie off, probably have a fresh cut, maybe.
Nice.
All right, look nice. Now, you're going to interview at a warehouse. I don't recommend you wear a three-piece suit. I mean, that's a little overkill, right? You don't need that. But you can't look like you just rolled out of bed, right? You got to look sharp. You got to have a plan. You want to be at your sharpest, best presentation. So that's important. Now, let me tell you something really important. People miss this all the time when they come to my office. Who do you think, so when people come in my office, who's the first person they probably talk to?
The boss.
Secretary?
I'm the boss. Don't talk to me first. You talk to the secretary. Right, so in my office, there's a secretary at the front door, and then there's another secretary in my office. If they come in and they're rude to the secretary, do you think the secretary tells me?
Yeah.
Always. Always. 7 days a week, twice on Sundays, they tell me. So you gotta be nice to the secretary. You gotta turn on the charm. You gotta say, thank you very much. My name is Caleb. I'm excited to be here. I'm here for a meeting with Mr. Quesnel. Yeah, please have a seat. Thank you. I'm sitting right over here. All right. Don't fall asleep in the chair. Don't pull out your phone and start jamming tunes. Okay. Don't get in an argument with your girlfriend on the phone in the lobby. All right. As a matter of fact, don't answer the phone. When you're sitting in the waiting room, don't answer the phone. All right. Sit there and be presentable because guess what? They're what? They're what?
Watching.
They're watching you. They're judging you. They're trying to rule you out. Don't give them a chance. Now the good news is, someone else will make it, someone was in this room. So we shouldn't even record this. I'm giving you guys top secret information. Your competitors don't know this. They come in my office, okay? Teachers who've gone to school for years, administrators, they've got their master's degrees. Guess what they do to my secretaries? They're rude. Guess what happens when they show up in my office? What do the barbers say? Next! Get the next one in here. All right, now, you make it through the secretary, you end up interviewing with the boss, okay? Is it okay to be nervous?
A little bit.
It's a reality, man. Everybody's nervous, right? I'm nervous every day. Every day I'm in a different situation, right? I'm supposedly in charge of this whole thing. Guess what I am every day? I'm nervous about something every day, right? I used to think I wanted never to be nervous about things. I was always like, and I wish I wasn't nervous. I wasn't. Guess what I finally have come to believe? I'm gonna always have some nerves going, right? What matters isn't that I'm nervous. What matters is how I handle those nerves. So if I'm sitting here with you guys right now and I'm nervous sitting here with you and I'm like sitting here all boring and, you know, not really conversing with you, what have I allowed my nerves to do? Take over, right? That happens in interviews. I can't tell you how many times I've interviewed people and I know they're bright, I know they're intelligent, I know they're capable, but they just can't do anything because they're scared. And as an interviewer, for me, I'm always trying to loosen people up. I'm like, you know, Ezekiel, man, I love your sweatshirt. I'm always trying to find something to loosen them up. But I'm a pretty nice guy. A lot of people aren't that nice. And if your nerves get balled up like that, you're gonna rule yourself out. So what you gotta do is calm yourself down. You gotta go with some self. Everybody know what self-talk is? All right, we all do it.
Where you talk to yourself.
Talk to yourself a little bit. Driving over the car, relax. I got this. You know, hey, listen, man. I'm going to give it my best shot. My best shot's not good enough. I don't get this job. I'm going to go for another one. Take pressure off yourself by talking to yourself about what you're going to do. Right? Slow down. Get there early. Don't be rushing. All right? Don't run in there all sweaty because you're racing. Right? These are things you can do. Breathe. Sometimes, you know, when your heart starts beating all that, you got to calm yourself down like that. That's a great interviewing trick. I used to, when I sat in interview rooms, usually there's like a water cooler or water fountain. I get a drink of water. You know, you start getting cotton mouth, you know, get some water, calm yourself down. Tell yourself you're gonna be fine. Tell yourself that you know you're gonna do the best you can possibly do. That's all you can control. The boss doesn't like you, Malene. Did you want the job anyway if he doesn't like you? You don't want the job. You don't want to work for a boss that doesn't like you. Do you, Ezekiel, want to work for somebody who doesn't like you? No, you don't. That's called problems. Okay? You don't want to work for someone who doesn't want you around, do you, Jeff? All right, so now you walk in, boss comes out to meet with them. First thing you need to do with the boss is what? Boom, handshake. All right, that's good stuff right there. Eye contact, good hand, boom, right there. I like that. Here's what I don't like, DJ. They shake your hand like this, okay? And they look down, I'm like, ow, right? Grab it, you know, now don't break his hand, all right? Don't go like this, don't go like, don't do this, okay? Just give him the handshake, all right? Yeah. Now, I don't think the lean in is necessary, the double back slap. I think we can probably relax with that, okay? Don't guy when you get the guy, you know, you're the guy who works out all the time that tries to show strong there with their hand grip. I'm like, relax, man, just shake my hand. You know what I'm talking about? The overly ambitious person that you really grip down, don't relax. So you shake the boss's hand, sit down. Say, I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down with me. Thank you. First question they're always going to ask you is what?
Why you want this?
Why you want this job? Tell me about yourself. Tell me why you want this job. So that's a question you should have prepared for. Tell me about yourself. Well, you know what? I'm 18 years old. I currently go to school at Stevens Alternative High School. You know, I've worked hard to get where I am. Definitely had some setbacks in my life, had some adversity, but I'm working through it, fighting through it. This is a big opportunity for me because I need a job. I need to get in the employment field. I need to build a resume. And I see this as a great start. I haven't had a job before, but I can tell you, when it comes to me, I'm honest, I'm hardworking, and I'm really eager to learn. And you know, when I looked on your company website, there were some things that I saw that seemed really interesting, and I would really like a chance. What have I just done right there?
You described yourself.
Describe my values.
And you described your work ethic.
My work ethic.
And then, like, you told them why you want the job.
Why I want the job. What else? I did one other thing in there.
You were confident.
I was confident. That's the presentation. What's one other thing I did though? Told them I knew a little bit about their company.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I walked into a warehouse and be like, hey, where are the donuts at? Right? You knew what the warehouse was. You knew what they did. Now it's sometimes hard, but if you go on the web, you can find just about anything. Right? Just about anything. All right, you can also find a little bit about the company. You don't need to research the company for hours and hours, just a short little bit. All right? Now, should you go on for 30 minutes about yourself?
No.
Should you tell them, your deepest, darkest family secrets?
No.
No, that's personal, right? But you got to tell them a little bit. All right, so for some of you, for me, a big part of my life is I have 6 kids, right? And I like to tell people that I have 6 kids because that's really important to me. So when I walk in and say, first and foremost, I'm a father. That my family is really important to me. Yeah, I know, I heard you. My family is really important to me. Taking care of my family is really important to me, and being a strong father is really important to me. Second thing you got to know about me is that I'm a really hard worker. I value hard work more than anything else in the world. I don't care that money, fame, power, they don't mean that much to me. What it means to me is hard work and honesty. And that's what you get when it comes to me. And tell them a little bit about yourself. All right, here comes the question though, Jeff. The question you know the answer to. Can you tell me about your work? Jeff's applying now to work at a nuclear power company. Jeff, can you tell us how fusion works and how atoms are split? What should you say?
How it work?
You know how atoms are split and how nuclear energy is created?
No.
If you do, that's amazing. Most of us won't know those kind of complicated questions. So is that okay not to know? Absolutely. So it's okay. All right. A lot of times bosses ask you questions that you don't know because they want to see how you handle things you don't know. So here's what you can't do, Jeff. You can't do the expression you just did, like, oh my God. Like, what are you talking about? You got to do, so to be very honest, I haven't had a lot of experience working around those kind of things. I did see on the website that that's what this was, and I was very interested in that, but I can tell you that I'm a quick learner. In my last job, I walked into a job, I had no experience, didn't know anything about it, but very quickly, I asked the right questions, and I'm not afraid to ask for help. And working at this company, building nuclear, whatever they're building here, I don't know, man, I hope you don't work at a nuclear plant, it's probably a bad idea. Just an example though. I'm really eager to learn about it, and I think what you'll find is I'm a really quick study. So you take your weakness and you turn it into a what? Strength. I don't know, but what are you good at? I'm eager to what?
Learn.
I'm a good learner. I process information quickly. I'm not afraid to ask for help. Should you start making things up, pretend like you can talk about nuclear fission?
No.
Probably not, okay? Because they'll know you're a liar if you do that. I don't advise that. I don't advise you ever lie in an interview, right? I remember one of the favorite stories growing up for me, there was a guy named, guys, I'm gonna forget his name right now. George, Mr. Brunel, I remember his name. He got the job at Notre Dame as the head football coach for like a month. You remember this at all?
I remember, now you're talking about Notre Dame, I remember there being something in the news.
I gotta find the name. If I get time, I'll Google it before we leave.
Is it like a long name like Steph?
No, it's a short name. It's an Irish name, I think. This guy is a football coach his entire career, right? So the University of Notre Dame, to be a head coach at University of Notre Dame, that's like greatest job you can get, right? This guy works his whole life to get this job, gets the job. Within a month, they go through his resume and they realize he had lied. He had made something up on his resume years ago and just forgotten to fix on his resume, and he lost the job. And hence the story, never make up a lie on a resume, and never make up a lie when you walk in the store. Just be honest. If they can't hire you for who you are, you probably don't want that job. Okay, we're getting close to the end of this thing right now. You've answered questions you know, you've answered questions you don't know. The final question in most interviews is what? Ezekiel, what do you think the last question they ask you in most interviews is?
I don't know.
All right, fair enough. Anyone have a guess?
Your schedule?
Huh?
Your schedule?
Well, that's probably if you got the job. That could be. That's fair. Your schedule, what's your schedule? Like, they're trying to fill you out.
Why should they pick you over somebody else?
That's a great question. That wasn't what I was thinking, but that is a great question. You get that question. They did? Yeah. Here's the question I hear asked a lot. Do you have any questions of us? That's called a setup question. Because what I see a lot of employees do at that point, they say, well, how much does this pay? Don't ask that question. Matter of fact, don't ask any question. What you can say, they say, Jeff, do you have any questions of us, through this process? What you can say at that point, Jeff, is, to be honest with you, I don't really have any questions. I've really enjoyed the opportunity to interview. I'm really excited to be here. I hope you can see from you want to summarize your interview a little bit. I hope you can see that I have a lot of energy. I hope you can see I'm eager to learn. I hope you can see that I'd be a great match for your team. And as far as the details of the position, I'm very happy to talk to your assistant after this meeting. So that's when you can ask about how much does it pay, when does it start, all those other things. But don't ask the boss those questions, okay? Because when you do, it gets uncomfortable. You're better off not asking those questions. All right, interview's over, you stand up, what do? Shake hands again, give them the Caleb shake. Shake hands, eye contact, walk out the door. One last thing you got to remember to do before you close the deal. It's right here, this is important. Ezekiel, you're walking out the door, man, what do? One more thing, shaking the boss's hand, you've gotten out of his office. All right, remember how we came in. Let's go out.
Secretary?
Bang! Bang! Caleb got it. I'll tell you, this guy was good. You got to shake the secretary's hand. Say, so my secretary's name is Miss Wentworth. All right, she is 60, I'm not even here, this thing's being recorded, so I should rewind that, all right? Miss Wentworth is retiring this year. If you don't say goodbye to Miss Wentworth on the way out of my office, God bless you. You're not getting that job. You got to engage them. Because guess what? When I walk out of my office, guess what the first thing Miss Wentworth says to me is?
Acknowledge her at all?
Now she'll go, that guy was such a nice guy. I really liked him. She's telling me, if you don't want your schedule screwed up next week, you better hire him. All right, that's the undercode of what she's saying. Or if I walk out, she says, man, you know what, Nate? That guy was a jerk. That guy was really full of himself. Guess what that means? Do not hire. So you got to thank the secretary. All right? He, she, however, thank him, go out. Get in your car. Is this the time to throw up the beats really loud and do a whole shot going out the parking lot? No. This is the time to keep the radio down, back the car out, get on the road, and then say, hey, you know what? Process it. Now, the first thing that happens, this is my last point, and I'm done today. You get in your car, TJ. I don't know if this happens to you, like when you do something where you're really trying to do your best, and you're like, oh my gosh, I just screwed that completely up. You guys ever have that experience? Like you take a test that you study for, you get done with the test, and you start beating yourself up like, I can't believe I just did that. Those thoughts will come. Every interview I've been on, I walk out and I'm like, oh, I'm a dummy. Why did I do that? What you got to do is you got to fight those thoughts. You go, hey, you know what? That's not true. I did my best. I did my best in that moment. Here's what I can do better the next time. But I gave it everything I had, and I can live with that. I can go to sleep every night because I gave it the best shot I can get. And when they call you, either they call you to get the job, they say thank you, etc. And maybe most important, they call you that you didn't get the job, what should you do?
Go get another job.
Say thank you and keep moving. All right? I can't tell you, so I hire probably 30 to 60 teachers a summer. Okay, so there's times where I'll hire someone in the spring, interview someone in the spring, they won't get the job, but then we'll turn around and by the middle of the summer, we'll hire them for another job. If we call them to tell them, sorry, Ezekiel, you didn't get the job, and they start swearing on the phone, they'd be like, you didn't even like me, all that other stuff. Do you think I'm ever gonna hire them?
No.
So what do you gotta do when they tell you no?
Bye.
Say, thank you very much. Was there anything that I could have done differently to have changed your mind? Be professional all the way, because you never know, they may come back to you. All right, so that's all I got. Anybody got any questions? Is this helpful?
Yes, sir.
All right, man.